हरे राम, राम राम हरे। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नित्यानंद नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेमानंदप्रदायिने कलौ कल्मषनाशाय जानवापतये नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we are discussing from chapter 2nd, and yesterday we discussed from verse number 31st. Swadharmam api chaveksha navikampitum dharmyadhi yudhyashreyo anyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. So in this verse, Krishna wants to encourage Arjuna to fight battlefield of Kurukshetra, even if he considers himself to be this body. So as a Kshatriya, Arjuna should uh, know that his duty is to fight for the cause of establishing religious principle. So then also he should not hesitate to fight. So considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, so Krishna is using the word specific duty. Swadharmam api chav aveksha. Api word indicates that this is not the ultimate thing Krishna wants from Arjuna. The ultimate thing Krishna wants from Arjuna, Krishna has already established the supreme position of the spirit soul in the previous section, that the soul is more important. So considering oneself to be transcendental to this material body, one should act on the platform of the spirit soul, and and uh, and the service to Krishna is what constitutes the eternal function of the living entity, the spirit soul. But Arjuna, even after hearing this explanation on the spirit soul, still because of excessive attachment for the body, he could not give up this bodily misidentification. That's why Krishna is saying api means even if swadharmam api cha veksha, even if you consider yourself, even if you identify yourself with this material body, then also you should think about this, that according to your bodily position, you are a kshatriya. So still you do not deserve to refrain from this fighting, because that is what is going to give you the ultimate good, even at material level. Just like suppose if a boy is there, a small child, so that is his duty, that he should study. He should study nicely so that he can get promoted to higher classes, and finally he can get a good degree, good job. He can stand on his legs nicely, establish himself. But if he cannot understand all these things, so then parents, what they say, that if you don't study, then you will have to face so many consequences, just as your friends will tease you, your teachers will chastise you, and if you fail, you will have to repeat the same section, and so many people will unnecessarily criticize you. So how will you tolerate? In this way, parents, they try to, on temporary basis also, parents, they try to encourage the child that he should not neglect his studies. But as the child grows, because parents know that as the child child will grow in the future classes, he will understand what is the importance of studying. So right now, he should be encouraged that he should study. So similarly, this is the duty of a teacher or guardians or preacher, that if somebody is unable to accept the instructions on a spiritual basis, then still he should be encouraged by all means that he should follow the path of dharma. One should not be discouraged, even materially also. That's why uh, we sometimes preach that you chant Hare Krishna, you read Bhagavad Gita, this will give you peace of mind, your mind will get controlled, all these things. So this is required for those people who cannot appreciate the value of service to Krishna on the spiritual platform. So, considering these points, Lord Krishna he has very mercifully created so many different paths. Even in Vedic uh, culture, Vedic society also, he has created different paths. So, one such path is the path of Varnashram Dharma. Varnashram Dharma, which constitutes uh, karma kanda activities, which are known as karma. Karma means that one is inspired to perform certain kind of religious functions or activities, rituals, austerities, or sacrifices in order to get certain material benefit. So that's why Krishna is telling dharmayadhi yuddhaya shreyo anyat. Shreyo means better than this. Uh, Fighting for the principle of establishing dharma is better for a kshatriya. There is nothing better than this for a kshatriya. But is but of course there is a lot more better thing to do uh, for a person who actually knows who is his real identity. That means for a person who identifies himself with the soul and not with this body, for him there is a lot more better option is to finally surrender to Krishna. So we were reading this purport. So yesterday we read that if a kshatriya, considering himself to be a kshatriya, fights for the cause of establishing dharma, so he is promoted to the heavenly planets and he gets the same benefit just as a brahmana who is performing sacrifice yajna and successfully performs a sacrifice. So the destination a brahmana gets after successfully performing a sacrifice, the kshatriya also gets the same benefit by fighting for the purpose of establishing dharma. So there are two kinds of swadharma or specific duties. As long as one is not liberated, one has to perform the duties of his particular body in accordance with religious principles in order to achieve liberation. So two kinds of swadharma or duties are there. Duty related with the spirit soul, which is real duty, because we are not this body, we are spirit soul. So function of the soul is considered to be real swadharma. But as long as one is attached with this material body, one is not liberated, one is uh, uh, one is in dehatma buddhi, considering oneself to be the body. So he gets another swadharma, which is based on his bodily situation, bodily designation. But when one is liberated, one's swadharma or specific duty becomes spiritual and is not in the material bodily concept. But as soon as one becomes situated in transcendental knowledge, that means one who is convinced, at least theoretically also, if somebody is convinced, somebody knows or somebody understands that he is not this body, he is a spirit soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, then immediately he is freed from all kinds of bodily swadharma. Bodily swadharma means this body belongs to certain caste, certain varna, not exactly caste, varna, brahman, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, certain ashram, brahmachari, vanaprastha, grahastha, sannyas, certain society, the particular nation, particular family, and particular nature also. So bhava, everybody body has got, not the soul. Every body has got certain kind of nature based on these three modes of nature, Satogun, Rajagun, Tamagun. So according to one's nature, one gets the inclination to act in a certain way. So as long as one is identifying oneself with this particular body, so he has to perform the dharma or duty according to his bodily situation. But as soon as by the grace of uh, spiritual master, by the grace of a pure devotee or by Supreme Lord's grace, if somebody can understand, even theoretically, that he is not at all this material body, so even if there is bodily designation may be there, and this body may be acting on the platform of certain kind of combination of three modes of material nature, Satogun, Rajagun, Tamogun, but still one can transcend and one can choose to act on the platform of spiritual consciousness. Because one understands that he is not this material body. So, knowing oneself to be transcendental, although he may not be liberated, he may not be actually transcendental to the effects or influence of the modes of material nature. But if he knows, he accepts that constitutionally he is transcendental to this modes of material nature, then even while living within the conditioning of the material body, he can choose to act on the spiritual principle. He can choose to act on the spiritual platform. That is, he can fully surrender to Krishna. This is what is the meaning. Just like, uh, if suppose if you are traveling, so although you are traveling within a vehicle, you are sitting within the vehicle. So as long as you are within the vehicle, so according to the situation of the vehicle, one is influenced. But if one knows that he is not the vehicle, he is different from the vehicle, and one knows his identity, so still, although the influence is there, but still he neglects it, he tolerates it, and he knows that this is not my actual position. So similarly, even while living within the bodily discomforts, bodily situations, conditionings may create the obstacle for a person who is on the who tries his hard to act on the platform of spiritual consciousness, but that does not matter for him. So that's why he transcends from one Sodharma for the body. He transcends to the position of Sodharma for the soul or activities on spiritual consciousness. So when one is liberated, one's Sodharma, a specific duty, becomes spiritual and is not in the material bodily concept. In the bodily conception of life, there are specific duties for the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas respectively, and such duties are unavoidable. One has to, that unavoidable means one has to perform those duties. Because those duties, bodily duties are unavoidable, means it's not that it is not unavoidable. One can avoid it. But because he has not freed himself from this misconception that I am not this body. So that's why he has to perform. But as soon as this change can happen immediately. If immediately one can understand that I do not belong to this material circumstances, material body. I have nothing to do with these material things. Then immediately he can avoid it. But as long as he is unable to understand or unable to accept this fact, most important fact that he's not this body, then he has to act on that platform. That's what Lord Krishna is telling in 11th canto Bhagavatam to Uddhava. Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyet yavata. Na nirvidyet yavata mat katha shravanado va shraddha yavan na chayate. Shraddha means conviction. As long as one has not developed the conviction for his spiritual status, his constitutional position, being a being an eternal servant of Krishna. So till that time, he has to act on bodily or material platform. So it's just a matter of conviction, and conviction is depends upon one's choice or desire, how he wants to progress in his life, what destination one desires. If somebody wants to have a spiritual destination, then immediately he can develop the conviction or shraddha on a spiritual position by association of the devotees. He can develop that. Just like if somebody wants to become a doctor, so what he should do? Uh, the area knows this. No, just giving exam will not work because he has not developed the conviction that I can pass the exam. But yeah, so he has to take the training. He will take training, go attend coaching classes and study, work hard, then develop the conviction that yes, now I can give exam and pass it, and then I can prepare for medical. So similarly, even if somebody has not developed shraddha or conviction in spiritual consciousness, spiritual reality, that I am not this body, I am spirit soul. But still, if he has the desire that he wants to transcend the material conditioning, he wants to transcend material conditioning, then he can choose. He can choose to associate with those people who can impart this conviction. And after getting the conviction, immediately he is freed from the activities of material body, bodily dharma. So this is what is explained here, that there are two kinds of specific duties. So Swadharma is ordained by the Lord, and this will be clarified in the fourth chapter. On the bodily plane, Swadharma is called Varnashram Dharma, or man's stepping stone for spiritual understanding. Human civilization begins from the stage of Varnashram Dharma, or specific duties in terms of specific modes of nature of the body obtained. Discharging one's specific duty in any field of action in accordance with the orders of higher authorities serves to elevate one to a higher status of life. So, but these two kinds of sadharma, whether bodily sadharma or spiritual soul's sadharma, both are directed or ordained by the Supreme Lord in order to uplift the consciousness of a conditioned soul from uh, misidentifying with this body to a spiritual consciousness where he understands that I am different from this body and eternal servant of Krishna. So this is a gradual upliftment of the soul, conditioned soul, by the Supreme Lord through the arrangement of this Varnashram Dharma, and then he transcends and performs Bhagavad Dharma. Okay. So with this we'll stop because tomorrow we'll begin the next verse. Yadrichya chopapannam swargadwaram apavritam sukhina kshatriya partha lavante yuddham idrisham. So in the previous verse, which the verse which we discussed today and yesterday, verse number 31, Krishna just told Arjuna that even at the level of bodily consciousness, your swadharma is to fight for the cause of establishing proper religious principles. So you should not hesitate to fight. But Krishna knows that why Arjuna is hesitating to fight, although Arjuna knows very well that I am a Kshatriya, so this is my duty, I am duty bound to fight. So only accepting that he is a Kshatriya, this is not going to solve the problem because Arjuna's calculation was that what will I get if I act in this battlefield? So he was calculating like that, that I will not be happy. Everyone is thinking about his own happiness, especially those who are in conditioned state, bodily concept of life. Their only calculation, which is called as material calculation. The material calculation is based on what will I get? This is material consciousness, material calculation. But as soon as one transcends this bodily concept of life and elevates oneself to spiritual consciousness, then his calculation changes from material to spiritual, and a spiritual calculation is based on what will Krishna get from this? Will this please Krishna or not? So accordingly, he decides. So that's why, because Krishna is giving this knowledge in this section based on material consciousness, Varnashram Dharma. So, in the next verse, which we'll discuss tomorrow, Krishna will explain that if Arjuna accepting himself to be the Kshatriya, and if he performs his Swadharma of being a Kshatriya, then what he will get. And in this way, Krishna will inspire you. Okay, so we'll discuss it tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Yes, any question? Yes, Shama Mataji.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। अ, ऐसे लोगों का क्या जो मतलब भक्ति में भी ठीक से प्रोग्रेस नहीं कर पा रहे हैं और अपना स्वधर्म जो है वो भी नहीं निभा रहे हैं, तो क्या होगा?
If they are convinced that devotional service to Krishna is the highest of all the activities, then even if they are unable to perform devotional service properly, they should still stick to performance of devotional service, leaving aside all other material duties. That is the best activity they can do. And this is confirmed by Narad Muni. Tyaktva swadharmam sharanambujam hare bhajan apakvo atapate tado yadi tatra kwa abhadram amushya kim. Narad Muni says this because the same question was asked by Vyasadeva. That suppose if you are telling that one should uh, fully surrender to Krishna with wholeheartedly, but what if one attempts to surrender to Krishna fully, but uh, in the beginning stage he is very inspired, but in between he fails to do so properly. So what will happen to such a person? He loses material life also and unable to catch up completely spiritual life. So then Arjuna says, no, 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 doesn't matter. Still, he will never be in loss. He gains. There is gain only. And on the other hand, if somebody neglects to perform his spiritual duties, service to Krishna, it doesn't matter how much materially he achieves success. He is able to fulfill all his material duties, material desires, but still with no gain because as soon as the body is finished, everything is finished. But if somebody just attempts to perform his spiritual duties, but because of being immature in his spiritual consciousness and because of so much allurement from Maya, if he fails to complete his spiritual duties, still he gains because whatever little bit he does, even if 5%, 10%, 20%, that is his permanent asset. As soon as he will leave the body, next birth, if he gets next body, so all bodily active duties which he has performed in this life, everything is finished. But next life, he is transferred. And so all his spiritual duties are transferred. Just like somebody in this life, if he becomes a very good, very nice, very good engineer or doctor, very reputed person, very attains name and fame, everything, all spiritual material success. But as soon as he dies, next birth, nobody is going to come to him and say that, oh, in your previous work, you were such and such great doctor, great engineer, great officer, great businessman. No, he has to begin everything from scratch. A for apple, B for boy, C for cat. But in spiritual, whatever spiritual duty if one performs, that is his permanent asset. Okay, clear? One cannot
यस
argue
प्रभु।
with an. Okay. So one question has come. In English, it said that one cannot argue with an idiot because they bring people at their level and yet not understand, even if it's about establishing religious. Can we know your comments, please? I did not understand the question. They bring people at their level and yet not. Okay. What I understood is that you meant to say uh, if uh, if somebody who is ignorant about spiritual knowledge, if we argue with him, then instead of understanding our argument, he will try his best to bring us to his platform. So, what should we do? So, we should just fold our hands and say, Hare Krishna. Why to unnecessarily argue with such a person who is unable to accept? We can only talk with a person who is ready to accept because for proving, we can give all the scriptural references, all the reasonings, all the arguments. But if everything is proved on the basis of authorized scriptures, then one has to accept. Still one is unable to accept that, there is no point in discussing about spiritual things. That's why I use this simple funda. If somebody argues regarding existence of God and who is God, what is our ultimate goal of life, I simply ask, do you accept Bhagavad Gita? If he says, then immediately quote some verses from Bhagavad Gita and proof. Just see, Bhagavad Gita says this. This is our goal of life. This is what who is God? God, Krishna is God. That is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. So if you don't accept Bhagavad Gita, then there is no point in discussion. Because with our own intelligence, our own experience, tiny intelligence and a very low span of experience, we can never understand who is God. Okay, clear? Okay, last question. Ankita Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु, जैसे हम लोग आप बोल रहे हैं बॉडीली कॉन्सेप्ट से बाहर निकलना है, लेकिन जैसे हम रेगुलर इस बॉडी को लेके चल ही रहे हैं, उसको रोज तैयार करते हैं, रेडी करते हैं, कभी बीमार हो जाते हैं, अगर थोड़ा सोचें कि हम सोल हैं तो बीमार हो जाते हैं, फिर बॉडीली
But don't
कॉन्सेप्ट में
think
वो
that
चीज
you are this
रियलाइज होती
body. We can
है। जी
maintain the body, we can take care of the body, but we should not misidentify with the body. Just like somebody who has a vehicle, a car, a bike, so one has to take care of the vehicle, maintain the vehicle. But nobody thinks that I am this vehicle. But of course, everybody thinks that this is my vehicle. That is also another kind of illusion. Aham, mama. Aham means I am this body. Mama means my body. So first of all, at least we should come to the level of understanding that my body. That is still good. But one has to even transcend this state also. That not this my body. This is Krishna's body, not my body, Krishna's body. But at least one should uh, become free from this gross ignorance that I am this body. So even if we are taking care of the body, so we should know this is a machine, a vehicle meant for meant for executing services for Krishna. So okay, let me nicely take care of it. But on the uh, real spiritual platform, one even transcends this consciousness that this is my body. He simply knows that this body belongs to Krishna. So let me utilize this body completely in the service of Krishna, because this body belongs to Krishna. That is his duty to maintain it. Okay. So we stop here. Thank you very much. What if one has
प्रभु एक
only
चीज
done?
और,
हाँ बोलिए.
प्रभु जैसे मॉर्निंग को लेके था कि जो हम उठ नहीं पाते वो मोड ऑफ इग्नोरेंस में होता है या फिर वो
Yes, certainly.
आलस वाला पार्ट है। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Alas, laziness is also a symptom of mode of ignorance. Laziness comes because of ignorance. The same thing. Okay. So
ओके
if one
प्रभु।
has only done one mala in their life, then they started enjoying sense gratification activities, then they die, what will happen to that person? Simple thing. Whatever sense gratification, sinful activities he has done, he will have to take the reaction for those sinful activities. And whatever mala he has done, that credit he will have that credit also. So it's not that you can compensate chanting Hare Krishna with your sinful activities. No compensation. Whatever good you do, you get the good. And whatever bad you do, you you get the bad result also. Clear? Okay. So thank you very much.
प्रभु